Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Because of this, that is why it has earned so much criticism, including from the families of 9/11 victims. And the group put out a statement today saying, quote, the PGA and Monahan, referring to the commissioner, appeared to have become just more paid Saudi shills, taking billions of dollars to cleanse the Saudi reputation. How do you respond to that?
Well, I think we'll never be able to repay the families back for what exactly happened just over 20 years ago. And what happened is definitely horrible. And I think as time has gone on, 20 years has passed, and we're in a place now where it's time to start trying to work together to make things better together as a whole. I have deep sympathy. I don't know exactly what they're feeling. I can't ever know what they feel, but I have a huge amount of respect for their position and what they believe. Nor do I ever want anything like that to ever occur again. I think as we move forward from that, we've got to look towards the pathway to peace, especially in forgiveness, especially if we're trying to mend the world and make it a better place. I think this is what they're trying to accomplish. LIV is trying to accomplish. The PIF is trying to accomplish. We're all trying to accomplish is a better world for everybody and a way to provide great entertainment for everybody around the world.
It's not just about 9/11. What does it make you uncomfortable at all? Because it's not just that they're accused of financing terrorism. They also are accused of killing a Washington Post reporter, Jamal Khashoggi. How do you feel knowing that that is where the money is backed by?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's unfortunate what has happened, and that's something I cannot necessarily speak on as I'm a golfer. But what I can say is that what they're trying to do, what they're trying to work on is to be better allies, because we are allies with them. And look, I'm not going to get into politics of it. I'm not specialized in that. But what I can say is they are trying to do good for the world and showcase themselves in a light that hasn't been seen in a while. And nobody's perfect, but we're all trying to improve in life.
It's unfortunate. Hey, it's just unfortunate. As Bison de Chabot, or whatever his last name is, basically said, the partnership with Saudi Arabia and all the nefarious incidents that go behind it that they haven't recognized or acknowledged even, it's unfortunate. As long as certain golfers are getting paid quite well, which is what the LIV Golf tournament backed by Saudi Arabia are doing, by bribing these guys with extra millions that the PGA Tour won't do, but they merge with them. It's unfortunate. 9/11, the death of Jamal Khashoggi, a U.S. Journalist, the billions and billions of dollars of Saudi financing to Salafi terrorist organist groups in the Philippines, Indonesia, Iraq, Afghanistan, and of course, the international theater, United States, Great Britain, what have you. It's just unfortunate. And that just goes to show you how absolutely clueless the real world is when it comes to the important issues that affect us all. But as long as they're getting paid, hey, listen, I'll sell out just to make sure. Also, on the other end, I'll just feign ignorance. Oh, is that what happened? Really? Oh, that's unfortunate. I mean, so what is this story about, really? Well, let's go back. A couple of days ago, CNBC wrote this article, well, yesterday. PGA Tour, this happened a couple of days ago, but PGA Tour LIV Golf merger is a major win for the Saudis. Sure is. And Americans are slamming it, rightfully so. The 2-year long fight between the PGA Tour and Saudi Arabia's LIV Golf came to a stunning conclusion with the Tuesday news that the arch rivals are now joining forces. The 2-year long fight between the PGA Tour and Saudi Arabia's LIV Golf ended with a stunning announcement that the arch rivals are now joining forces. News that's been met with decision by many American commentators, lawmakers, and golf fans. You better believe that certain golfers and certain members of the PGA Tour were influenced by certain elements within the State Department. Because most of the old dinosaurs in Congress, they don't watch basketball. They don't watch baseball. I mean, they're asleep at Congress. They can't watch a 9-inning game. No, they watch golf because that's a rich man's sport. And it mostly caters to Caucasians, right? So golf is the only sport that they watch besides squash or rowing or even tennis for that matter. All the sports that, the average American doesn't really watch or care for. And you best believe that the State Department is still shielding the Saudi government for their role in 9/11, even after the revelations of the Canestraro files from the Office of Military Commissions, showing now what we all suspected was that the CIA and Saudi intelligence were running an illegal operation inside the United States when it comes to 2 al-Qaeda operatives who were involved with the hijacking of American Airlines Flight 77 that crashed at the Pentagon, Khalid al-Mihdhar and Nawaf al-Hazmi. Money trumps blood. And when you finally realize that, you'll be outraged and you won't vote for these people anymore. The decision announced Tuesday concluded a battle for golf's best players and prompted an about face from the PGA Tour because they got no spine, which had in a previous lawsuit accused Saudi Arabia of offering athletes astronomical sums of money, which they did, to use the LIV players in the game of golf to sports wash the recent history of Saudi atrocities, for which the PGA Tour are absolutely correct. But like I said, do you think they just backed out on their own? No, they probably were for. Now, I don't know if this is true. I'm speculating. But why would they do an about face when their position was so strongly worded and backed by the historical record? I would rather have my reputation intact than sell out. Even if you're the only man on the island. Now the PGA Tour is going to be condemned by the average American, but they don't care about the average American. They care about their interests. It also ends pending litigation between the 2 organizations. The agreement, which includes a DP World Tour, also known as the PGA European Tour, will combine the commercial businesses and rights of the PGA Tour and LIV Golf into a new, yet-to-be-named for-profit company. Founded in 2021 with the goal of becoming the world's premier professional golf tour, LIV Golf is backed by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, a massive $600 billion sovereign wealth fund controlled by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And I'll speculate even further, a lot of that money probably came from the blackmailing of many of the Saudi princes from the different Saudi lines, like the Al Nayef family, who were supposed to be the true king and crown prince of Saudi Arabia. Not this guy. They took over by force. The Salman family. That's what they did. And they got all their dissidents up in hotel rooms back, 2006, I think? Or 2010, when that blackmailing when that happened? All the rich princesses were up there, probably begging for their lives. And whatever monies they had, hey, give me a price, you get to walk out of here. Oh, make sure you back my family, the Salmans. That's what this guy did. That's who these golfers are backing, whether they know it or not. And come on. This is a public story. They probably were looking through the Google, Mohammed bin Salman, the beheading of Jamal Khashoggi, 9/11, right? Is that the reason why the Canestraro file didn't catch on the legacy media? Because they don't want to ruin the U.S. partnership with Saudi Arabia, or plus, they don't want to give a black eye to the CIA, which both should happen. The biggest story we've had regarding all of September 11, 2001 was not acknowledged by the legacy media. It was acknowledged by Russia Today and Gray Zone. That's it. The game of golf's better for what we've done today. Fuck your game, right? I don't care about the game of golf. I care about holding people responsible for egregious and nefarious crimes. The game of golf's better for what we've done today, PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan told CNBC News in an interview after the news broke. A lot of people vocally disagree. This is Saudi Arabia buying the PGA Tour. Sports talk show Rich Eisen said his broadcast after hearing the news. The hypocrisy is obvious. The PGA Tour takes the Saudi money after 2 years grandstanding against it. North Carolina-based reporter Pat Welter wrote on Twitter, they sold their soul to LIV Golf, and where it's going to cost them is control because the person signing the checks always wins, and he's right. USA Today sports columnist Christine Brennan called the move a total wimp out by the PGA Tour. Just an awful about-face saying the organization caved to Saudi blood money. Absolutely right. Christine Brennan. Turn that knife slow. PGA Tour now in sports washing business. Correct. Correct. And let's not forget the biggest human atrocity on the face of the earth currently, which is not getting their due anymore because of Ukraine, and that is what's happening in Yemen, which is Saudi-backed. Over 250,000 people now displaced. I think that number is now up to 300,000. And I think 80,000 dead. Nobody's talking about it anymore. As part of the agreement, the Saudi PIF is now the exclusive investor in the new Gulf entity, and it has the right of first refusal on any new investment. Social media was rife with self-described golf fans vowing to never again watch the PGA Tour. Good. I hope the ratings tank, just like with Bud Light and Target. Even golfing legend Tiger Woods, who previously turned down an offer from the LIV Tour that could have earned him more than $700 million, criticized the Saudi league before the merger was announced, saying late last year an endless pit of money was not a way to create legacies. Tiger Woods, the guy who the media has shamed because he was an adulterer, is the one with some saving grace here. Members of Congress weighed in too. Hypocrisy doesn't begin this brazen, shameless cash grab. I'm going to dive into every piece of Saudi Arabia's deal with the PGA. Rod and Wyden wrote on Twitter, U.S. officials need to consider whether a deal will give the Saudi regime inappropriate control access to U.S. real estate. They already have U.S. real estate. They're also responsible for taking away U.S. real estate in the World Trade Centers. For their part in financing hijackers and known al-Qaeda operatives inside the United States. What did you do, Ron Wyden? Even if you wanted to do anything, you're powerless to stop it. Powerless. Did you bring Crown Prince Salman before an appropriations committee or an investigative committee? No. Because the Saudi lobby is too much. And they pour in billions of dollars. And you best be sure that the military, the U.S. military, will always be in the holiest sites of Islam, Mecca and Medina, because that's who we protect. We protect our interests, because to lose Saudi Arabia to a country like Russia or China or even Great Britain, an ally, a coalition partner, and they regulate the oil market, well, the United States is screwed. And now, with a new Cold War happening, with Iran, China, North Korea, and Russia, all at the prefaces, you better believe controlling the oil market will be the number one concern, as well as the production of weapons. Because in war, the three industries that benefit the most are the oil industry, the weapons industry, and the banking industry. That's who. Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy wrote in a Twitter post, "So weird. Oh, so weird. PGA officials were in my office just months ago talking about how the Saudis' human rights record should disqualify them from having a stake in a major American sport. I guess maybe their concerns were really about human rights." That's right. Because, like I said, oil and money are thicker than blood. CNBC has reached out to the PGA Tour for comment. Saudi Arabia has long been criticized for its human rights record. Since the fucking 80s, which include the imprisonment and execution of political dissidents, mass beheadings, harsh penalties, including death for members of the LGBT community, and the high-profile murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi in 2018 by Saudi agents, for which the CIA even wrote a report regarding that, yes, Crown Prince Salman ordered that murder, but that didn't go anywhere. Need I remind you also that it was Saudi Arabian government, certain elements within the kingdom, that actually sympathized with Osama bin Laden throughout the 90s, protected and shielded him until the pressure from the U.S. government was too much, and then they disqualified him from his family allowances regarding the Saudi bin Laden group, which is the largest construction magnate in all of the Gulf. But bin Laden had sympathizers within the kingdom that would give him blackmail money for them, Al-Qaeda, to not attack the Saudi kingdom because they had the U.S. military stationed in all of the holiest sites, which is seen as an act of treason for allowing a kafir, a non-believer, into the land, the holiest site of all of Islam. That didn't stop the U.S. from coexisting with Saudi Arabia because we regulate the oil market. The kingdom is driving an aggressive campaign to promote its image as a reformed, socially liberating country as a key part of the Crown Prince's Vision 2030, an ambitious multi-trillion-dollar to modernize the country and end its dependence on oil revenues. The country was founded on two premises. One, government. Two, the religious sector. This is the sector hardly the public knows about. Go and Google Muhammad ibn al-Wahhab. He is the co-founder of the original Saudi state called the Emirate of Diriyah. And when bin Ibn Saud captured Najad and Hijaz, it became what we know as today Saudi Arabia. Thanks in part to Great Britain, who defeated the Hashemites, or the Kharijites. I always get those two mixed up, which led to Ibn Saud capturing the two cities. The Ottomans, as well, who previously were controllers of those two cities. So, and by the way, Great Britain is also responsible for the creation of another terrorist state, Israel. When I say terrorist state, talk about the government, not the people. Such a taboo subject, isn't it? Human rights group Amnesty International called the merger sports washing at its finest, saying we must not allow this announcement to overshadow Saudi Arabia's atrocious human rights record. Further criticism came from family members of the victims of the September 11 attacks via the organization 9/11 Families United, which the PGA Tour previously invoked in the attacks on the LIV Golf. PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan co-opted the 9/11 community last year into PGA's unequivocal agreement that the Saudi LIV project was nothing more than the sports washing of Saudi Arabia's reputation, the group said in a statement Tuesday. But now the PGA and Monahan appear to have become just more than paid Saudi shills. 15 of the 9/11 hijackers from Saudi Arabia, and the U.S. officials concluded that Saudi nationals helped fund the terrorist group Al-Qaeda, although investigators did not find that Saudi officials were complicit in the attacks. However, we did find through the Office of Military Commission reports, the Down Sea Counter files, that we did have certain elements of the Saudi government, led by Omar al-Bayoumi, Fahad al-Tamari, Muwasset al-Jarrah, Osama Basnan, who are getting paid through a government contracting company, the Saudi Air Presidency, and also from a bank account belonging to Haifa bin Faisal, the wife of U.S. Saudi Ambassador Bandar bin Sultan, through Riggs Bank. CNBC contacted the Saudi Arabia Embassy in Washington, D.C., and the Saudi Foreign Minister for comment. The Saudi government generally denies accusation of human rights abuses and says it's acts to safeguard its national security and stability. When you are beheading alchemists, witches, math teachers, and political dissidents from other families, you are guilty of human rights violations as dictated in the Rome Statutes, for which you are a co-signer of. So why aren't Crown Prince Salman before the Hague? Because the U.S. and Israel and Iraq, by the way, are not co-signers of the Rome Statutes. I wonder if they have any say. Professional golfer Bryson DeChambeau, who was just at the video in the start of this video, an early recruit to the LIV Tour, told CNN that the merger is the best thing that could ever happen for the game of golf, and I'm extremely proud to be a part of that. In the end, the game of golf wins. Fuck you, I won. I made a lot of money, so screw you, 9/11 families. Such a shame what happened to you guys, to the family of murdered journalist Jamal Khashoggi. It's unfortunate. Make it rain, Bryson, because that's what it amounts, right? You got paid a handsome sum. And by the way, I'm sure your Saudi handlers told you, hey, listen, give us a good light. And you did. You acquiesced. You're a sellout. Phil Mickelson, another member of the LIV Tour, tweeted, awesome day today in response to news because he doesn't have a soul. Investment banking firm Jefferies wrote in a note Tuesday that this unexpected agreement holds immense potential to elevate the sport of golf to new heights. The infusion of capital from PIF signifies a strong commitment to the growth and promotion of golf on a global scale. The PIF's investment figure is not yet publicly known because money is what's important, not the game. If the game was free, these people wouldn't be playing. This is about money because they don't want to say it, because they know deep down inside they sold out. Bryson DeChambeau, Phil Mickelson, and whoever else signed up for the LIV Golf tournament. You're a sellout. And you sold your soul to one of the worst countries on the face of the earth. I could see if it was Easter Island. I could see if it was France or Azerbaijan. No, you went to the worst, one of the worst places on the face of the earth, and you said, I'm not going to play for you. How about we give you $30 million? Sold. God. In a memo to players obtained by CNBC, Monahan called the deal a transformational agreement, said that with PIF's collaborative investment, the immeasurable strength of the PGA Tour's history, legacy of pro-competitive not only remains intact, but is supercharged for the future. The PIF has, in the past few years, brought up stakes in major blue-chip companies, including Amazon, Uber, Alphabet, Microsoft, Boeing, Bank of America, Disney, and Meta. The Mammoth Fund, which estimates assets of more than $600 billion, has aggressively expanded into sports, hosting a Formula Grand Prix and major boxing matches, and buying British Premier Soccer League Newcastle United. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo with this goon. Ladies and gentlemen, need I say more? That we are slowly caving to the worst aspects of the human consciousness. Never mind what's happening in the United States, which is tearing its own self apart, which is led by the general ignorance of the American people. Whether it's political, sexist, racist, it doesn't matter. We're destroying ourselves from within. However, what's happening across the world which is the storylines controlled by the media, is probably far worse on a moral standpoint. No, we haven't hit that point yet. We will. But what's happening abroad is what's happening in our name. And one day, when these golfers get very old and they're laying in their beds and dying of natural causes, and when they're alone, the most important aspect is when they're alone to their own thoughts. They're going to look back and they're going to regret the very second that they signed over their souls to the macabre and reprehensible country that is Saudi Arabia, which was partly responsible for the 9/11 attacks, the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, and the war crimes in Yemen, and the decades-long support, financial and logistical support of terrorist groups in Southeast Asia and the Middle East, which led to the deaths of probably millions.